Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Jones, a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm talking to you today about trauma bonding. Trauma bonding is an unusual phenomenon, I call it, because it is a bond that is created in relationships, but this type of bond is created when there's a combination of pain and trauma, pain and love and pleasure. The two get mixed together through the course of the relationship and produce a trauma bond. Before I go any further, let me give you the definition of the word trauma. A trauma is an emotional shock. It can be a physical injury. It can be emotional injury, a psychological injury, deeply disturbing or distressing experience. Now remember, the person experiencing the trauma is the one that can define whether or not and classify whether or not they've been traumatized, not the individual inflicting the trauma. And so traumas can come in many forms. They can come in the form of death of some kind, murder, rapes, molestations, other distressing experiences, any form of abuse. And there's numerous kinds of abuse. There's emotional abuse, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse, monetary abuse, even spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse is when someone uses scripture to make you feel guilty so that they can control you. Other forms of traumas are divorces, abandonments, public shames, and so on. Now, the word bond means a relationship between two people that has a connection, most often an intense connection because of their shared experiences and memories that come out of those experiences. Technically, the word bond means the connection between two objects that are joined together by pressure. Another word for pressure is stress. Or joined together by heat. Another word for heat is conflict or passion. Now, trauma bonding is a bond, and it is formed because of the pain in the wounding experiences. And the pain and the love combined actually produces a bond, and it stresses the nervous system out, whether you realize it or not, to the point that three memories are impacted. And in fact, the trauma and the nature of the trauma and the experience of the trauma embeds itself into three memories. Those three memories include mental picture memory. The word mental means, it doesn't mean insanity. The word mental means thoughts and fears and brain on high alert. The psychological word for high alert is hypervigilance. And then the image part of mental picture are typically what people refer to as flashbacks. They remember the images associated with or surrounding or involved in the trauma. The second memory that trauma embeds itself into is emotional memory, so that the person feels those emotions again. Typically, that's stored in the amygdala part of the brain. The third memory that is embedded with traumas is muscle memory. Muscle memory is something that is hard to understand. Muscle means physical, physiological, organic, visceral, anything in the physical body. So when trauma embeds itself into the muscle memory or the body, that feeling inside of the body that was produced from the trauma can be activated outside of the cognitive control or even awareness of the individual at the time it's activated. So that the muscle memory trauma doesn't have to pass through, I call it, the filters of the cognitive thinking and cognitive understanding. An example is you can be visiting with someone, or your mind can be on a certain topic, focused on a certain topic or thing or environment, and then you can have a muscle memory reaction in your body because of something peripheral that has just happened. A sound, a smell, a person coming in the room, a voice can activate sub or unconsciously the muscle memory, and then you have a reaction from the trauma in the form of, for example, rapid heartbeat, tension, muscle constriction, shaking, trembling, sweating, nervousness, while at the same time you're focusing in cognitively on some other topic in the present tense. So that's part one of trauma bonding. It's a brief explanation of trauma bonding, and I will explain a whole lot more in future sessions. God bless.